Welcome to the sfhappio show, where you get to know apps that actually really solve your Salesforce problems. Finally, sfhappio, Salesforce apps for a happy Salesforce.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the sfhappio show, where we present apps that make your Salesforce really, really happy. And today with us on the show is James from the company called CloudAnswers. And James will show us his app called ReportSender. Welcome, James, on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hello, welcome. Happy to have you here with us. So first of all, as always, let's start out by providing some information about your company, CloudAnswers, and about your role at CloudAnswers.
Sure. So we are a small group of developers, and we've been working in the Salesforce ecosystem for over 10 years, but we've generally operated as freelancers and independent entities. And over the past 10 years, we've come together, and now we work full-time as a company. We originally started in Boston, USA, and now everyone lives remotely, and there's no offices in the new reality we're all living in. So you can find us in Europe, Asia, and USA. We are a small team of developers, so in general, we're a very flat structure. I might have started the company, but everyone is self-sufficient, and we all work with consulting customers directly, and we also build apps during our free time or during our monthly hackathons.
Okay, interesting. So what you're saying is that your apps that you're building are actually coming out of project work.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, we are developers, and so we're invigorated by building new, interesting things and discovering things. And so when we encounter the same problem in the real world several times, we will build like a clean room version of that solution, so that going forward, we don't have to keep charging customers to write the same code over and over. They can just go download it for free on the App Exchange, for instance.
Okay, interesting. Just briefly about your projects. Are you focusing on a specific area or type of customer?
That's a good question. I don't think we have a specific industry focus. We work with companies doing physical goods, delivery, logistics, high-tech ad sales, kind of any industry possible. I think the main type of people that we work best with is when someone internally in the company is a strong admin, and we help complement their ability to think through business problems by us jumping in and offering technical solutions.
Interesting. Sounds great. Okay, cool. So let's talk now about your app that you're showing us today. It's called ReportSender. We see here the page on the App Exchange. It belongs into the category of admin tools. It's actually my favorite category. So tell us, what problem does the ReportSender for Salesforce solve that Salesforce doesn't do on its own?
Sure. Okay, so if I remember back to years ago when we built this, the common thing that happens over and over again is you're working with a partner. You're working with some outside firm that's doing customer support for you, or maybe you have a very large customer with an SLA, and you want to do anything possible to give them as much information about opened cases, for instance, on a regular basis. The way we used to solve that was we would schedule we'd subscribe to a report in Salesforce, so you get the report emailed to you, and then you would set up an email rule in your inbox to forward it to your customer. This is obviously not ideal for many reasons, most of which are if the email is just being forwarded to you and then being forwarded out, there's little tracking on it. The email results are embedded in the email as opposed to being an attachment which a lot of customers would like. And if it doesn't go direct to the customer, there's a chance it might drop off and it might get stuck in your inbox, or maybe your rule in your inbox maybe stopped working. And so the first thing that we were overcoming with this was that you can't send reports on a scheduled basis to people outside your normal Salesforce user base. Because as you know, you can only pick users to subscribe to reports. So now you can enter any email address that you could possibly want, mail groups, customer emails, you name it, and it will send them directly to them. Of course, you can CC yourself if you'd like, but it goes directly to the customer instead of having to be routed through your inbox. Once we built that, the next thing that came about was that people want to have attachments instead of embedding the results in the email, which is what you today see during subscribed reports. So we started with CSV because that's the universal format that every systems person works with. So every admin knows CSV from doing imports into their systems.
Right.
So we started with that, and then the requests came for Excel, and then formatted Excel and JSON, and so we're adding different formats over time. But Excel and CSV are by far the most popular.
Okay. Interesting. So typical use cases are when the users are not part of Salesforce, are not Salesforce users. And,
exactly. Extending your business operations outside of Salesforce, which is very common.
Sure.
The people that we see using it the most are marketing agencies. These are the scenarios that I hear when I do customer support with people, because we developers do customer support directly. So when I work with people to troubleshoot issues, it's typically they're working in two scenarios. One is the CEO does not have a Salesforce license and they just want to get the CEO a report. Everyone knows that scenario. And the other one is that they have a partner, like they are a marketing operations company. And so they're creating landing pages and getting leads into their Salesforce, and they're doing ongoing nurturing to those leads. And then eventually when the lead is warm, they send it to their customer, to some large insurance company or some other external entity. And they want to automate that. And those people, I think, are the ones we've helped save the most time, because they have maybe 250 or more customers who they need to send leads to on a regular basis. And they used to have a person creating those reports, running them, exporting them, emailing them over and over again. And so we've automated that whole thing here by giving them one report that they were able to schedule on a regular basis.
Yeah. Interesting. Could you show us the report sender in Salesforce?
Oh, absolutely.
Get an idea how this works and how to set it up.
Totally. So the install is intended to be, so we're developers, so we try to make the install as easy as possible so that nobody has any issues with it. And so I'm going to open up my production Salesforce org here, and I have our report sender installed, and we use it to send open cases for customers, and we have an internal check of new installed apps, because when you install our report sender, Salesforce gives us a license record to tell us that you've installed it, so that we know how to do customer support with you. And so we have a weekly report check-in here. This is the whole app. It's all one tab. It comes with an app itself, but we put the tab into our normal app. But once you install it, you end up with this one screen here. And the only thing you need to do is click Activate Report Sender. And this will schedule a job as your user that'll be able to kick off and run these reports. So from an admin perspective, if you're just installing it as an admin and you want to schedule a few reports, once you install the app, you open up Report Sender, which will show up in your waffle menu. Click Activate Report Sender. It will confirm that all the security is set. It'll start the schedule job, and then you can start with a new schedule. And when you click this, it will prompt you for all the parameters of an email. So you can name it for internal purposes. You can pick your report from within your org. So you can search by type ahead. And
I see. So first you do the report, right? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
like you
Yeah,
would
so
do
if
in
I
a normal way, and then you select this report here as a name. Yeah.
exactly, and so these are all of my lead reports, and so I might have
Yeah, sure.
maybe I have a monthly lead report.
hmm
I'll pick one just as it'll be a large report. So one of the other reasons, the side reasons that we found people use this over the Salesforce one is that we handle more than the limit of 1,000 records that are in a normal Salesforce scheduled report. And we're only limited
Yeah.
by heap size. So we have some customers sending tens of thousands of records, as long as there's not too many columns. So I pick a subject and say like, weekly lead report for partner X. And I can put an email body together that explains what the file is all about. And this is something that came about because people wanted to add their own marketing information because they're dealing with customers of their own.
Sure.
And so you can explain that this is the lead list for X, Y, and Z week, and these are the sources, and here I'm your account manager, so please let me know if you have any problems, and so on and so forth. And then here's the recipient list. And so here I can put in any email address that you would like. Any email address of anywhere on the internet. So it's not restricted to Salesforce users or global email addresses or anything like that. It's just a free text field, so you can add as many as you would like.
That's actually the main, the main limitation of Salesforce itself, right? In the standard subscribe functionality.
You've got it. Yeah, and then and I'll pick my time of day, so what time I'd like to run it.
Perfect.
And we have Unix like developer time and localized time. It shows you your time zone because companies are global, so
Sure.
it matters where you schedule it.
Yeah.
And then you can pick how often, which would be daily,
Or
weekday, monthly, and so on. And we have the ability to not send the report if it's empty.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
This is helpful because you might have 250 customers and you want to send them all a case report list on a weekly basis of the cases you've worked on for them. But you, of course, don't want to send empty emails because
empty lists. Yeah, sure.
Right. So that's all this does. And now you pick your file format, and so you can pick Excel with details, Excel formatted like Lightning. Yeah. You can embed the results into an email body, and we limit it to 5,000 just because of all the rich formatting. The size of the emails start to bounce at that point, so you're better off with an attachment. Especially XLSX, where it's compressed and it's an efficient format. All right, and if I hit save at this point, now I have my schedule, and I can click send now to send a test, which will email me a copy of the report as soon as it runs. One of the other benefits of this app too is that you can, as an admin, you can schedule everyone's reports if you'd like, or you can give them access and they can log in and they can schedule their own reports. And then at least in one place you can see everyone's scheduled reports. You can open up the underlying object and you can reassign them to yourself. And there's a little more things you can do as an admin with process builders and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. Sure, so, because it's an object, right? The scheduled report.
Exactly.
And you can build your own things based on your custom object.
Yeah, that's right. So we've actually had some fun calls with customers who have extended it and used process builders and flows to automatically create schedule records for their customers instead of having to go through this process to point and click it. They just make one template and then they clone it over and over again. And so we've heard that from customers, and so now we're actually going to be rolling that out in a future version where, for instance, on the account screen, you can pick to schedule a report for that account. So basically,
I see.
Here's a sparse example of a report that was sent to me. And so, I just have a test message and an attached file that has my data in CSV format, for instance, here. So I picked CSV and I typed test record here because this is a QA job. And you can see it's very simplistic with an attached file, which is what most companies are looking to get sent out to their customers.
Looks great. And yeah, it really helps overcome this limitation that we have at Salesforce with reports just being sent to Salesforce users, and here you can really extend this functionality.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's what we're trying to solve.
Looks great. Okay. So tell me, I've seen you have two versions of the app. I think there is a free version and a paid version.
Yes, thank you. I forgot to mention this. We're all developers, so I often forget to talk about those types of details. So
we get focused too much on the technicalities of things, but just to understand, what the basic differences are. For
so
those two versions.
those differences are just right here. So in the Pro version, which is currently $100 per month for the whole company. So unlimited size company. It's just it just covers our support costs basically for when you email us, when we can answer questions. So that enables this function to stop sending empty reports. And under Excel formats, we offer more Excel formats here. CSV is the default, and I think email body is included by default. And then the Excel formatted is one of the Pro ones. We have a small footer that goes at the bottom of the report for the free version, and the Pro version does not include it. And the Pro version, I think, is $100 a month for the whole org. So regardless of the number of users.
No exactly. No matter how many users there are, how many reports you send, basically flat.
Yeah, exactly. Just to cover our support costs, because we do email and chat support, and from time to time we'll jump on phone calls with people to troubleshoot things, and it just helps subsidize us being able to pick up the phone and do that work.
Sure. Great, James. That was really interesting. And a super example for a niche problem that you solve really in a nice way. Thank you for that. So yeah, where can people find out a bit more about this app, about the ReportSender, and also about your other apps?
Absolutely. So we have listed apps on the App Exchange. If you search for CloudAnswers on the App Exchange, you'll find us as well as some other people that have tried to clone our application. But if you search for CloudAnswers, you'll find some of our applications that have been publicly published. And if you come to our website, CloudAnswers.com, you can find out about other applications that are not yet through security review, but we just offer also for free for people to use.
Great. So I will add this obviously to the show notes, the links to the App Exchange page and to your website. And James, thank you so much for being with us. It was really interesting.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. This is the first time for me ever to do this, so I really appreciate it.
You did it fantastically. Thank you so much.
Oh man, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, James. All the best.
You too. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching the sfhappio Show, where you get to know apps that actually really solve your Salesforce problems. And now, register for the sfhappio newsletter at sfhappio.com/newsletter. That's sfhappio.com/newsletter. And receive all those cool apps you didn't know they existed right into your inbox. sfhappio, Salesforce apps for a happy Salesforce.